Hello, YouTube. I hope you're doing well. Today we're on code.org. We're in Unit 7, Lesson 3. It says this program works identically to the one you just wrote, but it has been organized differently because some functions return a value instead of logging them to the console. It tells us to read the code for the program. It then says finish the code for the random complement function. Use the comments in the code from the random greeting to help. Let's go ahead and run the code just to see what happens. Some text is put into the console log. So if we look here at lines 1 through 3, we see 3 different function calls for the greet and complement. And we have 3 arguments being passed, 1 on each line. That gets put into this function right here, greet and complement, along with that name. Then within this, we see a printout to the console log. We see that twice. The first console log calls the random greeting function. So if we look in this, we see that within this function, there's a variable called greeting, and it has 5 different greetings in different languages for good day. We then see a variable being created that's randomly getting a number between the index 0 and the last index. So it randomly pulls one of these greetings, and then it returns that back into this console log right here. We then add the name to the console log, and that's why we see this output below. We also see here underneath the first line, we have that function, but then we see a second console log, and it's the name of the person, which we see here, and then it says plus random complement, but it says here undefined for each of these. So let's go ahead and look at that function because we're going to finish putting in the code that's needed to have this run correctly. So if we scroll down, we see it's very similar to the random greeting. We see various complements that are given. And then we see a comment that says to write the code to complete the function. What we're going to do here is very similar to what we saw. Right here, we see a variable being created to pull one of the random index entries for greeting. So we're going to do the same here for complements. If we go to variables, we create a variable. We'll call this random comp. You can call it whatever you want though. This is going to be set to complements. We'll do the open and close bracket. And then I'm going to switch to show text because it's going to be easier to throw in the random number into the parentheses. From here, what do we want? Well, we're going to change our first number to be index 0. And our second number, if we look above, we have the greetings length -1. So we're looking at this and then going through and pulling all of the entries here. If we didn't do -1, it would go outside of what's entered into this list. So we're going to type in complements.length -1. Let's go ahead and show our blocks again. We're not done though. What we need to do is return our value. So if we go back to functions, drag in the return. What do we want to return? Well, we want to return the value that was put here for random comp. So we're going to do random comp. And now that we've done that, this code should spit this back up to this console log, and we should get the name plus one of the random complements. Let's go ahead and reset our app and rerun the code. We see here a greeting for Benjamin, and then we have Benjamin, you are ridiculously funny. And we see that for the other people in this list. The main part of this lesson is that we're practicing using functions, passing arguments and parameters, and then returning what we've done back to our function calls. When you're done, make sure you click finish.